Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Thursday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Rate, review, subscribe. We appreciate it. That helps us out big time. We're back. We said we were going to be back, and we're back. First time for everything. Okay? So, let's do this. Get this right out of the way. This show is brought to us by Bet Online. You guys know the deal, okay? They have everything over there. You can get on everything imaginable this season, next season. They're going the extra mile to make sure you can do that. Game spreads and totals, team, player, and coach and props. Bet Online. They're giving you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over there today and use the promo code ARCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, Bet Online. Okay, so quickly, we're going to discuss this 2021 Syracuse football schedule, and then we are going to go into the NC State game. They're coming to the Dome Sunday.
Yep.
6 o'clock, ACC Network. And if you guys are going to have trouble, sometimes people have trouble with the ACC Network stuff. So, I don't know. If you do, let us know. Okay? I'll be on standby. On Sunday at 6, it's kind of tough, but I'll see. So, we'll just go from there. But anyways, quickly, the schedule is out. So, we got dates and locations. Okay? September 4th at Ohio. September 11th at home versus Rutgers. 18th September at home versus Albany. Friday night, the 24th, at home versus Liberty. Is that even? Should we even do that? Is it going to be safe? Is it going to be okay to do that? I don't know, man. October 2nd at Florida State. October 9th at home versus Wake Forest. October 15th, that's another Friday night game versus Clemson at home at Virginia Tech. October 23rd, talk to Cuse Tony. He's thinking about getting a bunch of people up there to do that. I'm thinking about doing it as well, Joe. So October 23rd, check it out, Virginia Tech. We'll see, Blacksburg. October 30th, at home, Boston College by November 6th, 13th of November at Louisville, November 20th at NC State, and then we finish up at home at Pittsburgh. So I asked for your way too early prediction, so I'm going to ask for Joe's way too early prediction. What do you think, Joe, when you look at this and you know all of the things that we have to still fill and, what we possibly got coming, maybe? How do you kind of see this with a lot of unknowns at this point?
I am going to go, 6-6 is probably what I'd go for.
Really?
Yeah, I would. I'm kind of on the border of some games. I feel like we will lose a couple here and there or whatever, but I'm kind of basing this off the fact that this is going to be a different team than we saw last year. I think that the seniors that decided to come back because of COVID and the option to, I think they really have a chip on the shoulder to kind of go out in a better way. And I don't know what our team looks like if, for instance, Garrett Schrader, if he ends up winning that spot as a quarterback. Mm-hmm. Right. That's really that's the wild card, right? Mm-hmm. Because I don't think I'd say 6-6 if I thought, if I knew Tommy was going to be the starter the whole time. Maybe I could be wrong.
Whoa.
Look, I'm just saying, because you can only go off of
what you've seen, what you know.
What you've seen, what you know.
Yep.
So if Garrett Schrader, from what I've seen, and he can come in and he can win this job, then I think that it's a different type of team that we haven't seen since probably Eric Dungey. And I'm not saying he's as good as Eric Dungey, but he has a lot of the same intangibles. And Yeah, it's really what I'm going to say. It's 6-6. We're going to a bowl based upon the unknown of that.
There's a lot of positive comments in here, and so I started off with our buddy Patrick, top fan Patrick, on Facebook. He says I see 5 to 6 wins. He says, okay, so I came back and honestly, I was like, basically, I've been so optimistic when we've done this before, and I've been, other than the 10-1 season, I was pretty far off. So I was like, I'm gonna try to be a little bit pessimistic and hope I'm wrong with 2 to 3 wins, because I just don't know. I just don't know. So I'm gonna go 4-8. Okay, because you give me hope. Okay, and a lot of these people give me hope. Dwayne on Facebook says 3 to 4 wins at most. Babers this time maybe over the hill. Babers time maybe over the hill. Cuse Tony 8-4. Let's go bowling. So that would be nice. I would love a 6-6, and I will accept a 6-6 in to get a bowl game. Okay, I'm not looking for anything crazy. Top fan Chris. He says, come on, there we go. Top fan Chris on Facebook says, I'm going to say 7-5, but I'm sure I'll be wrong. Well, which way? We don't know. Dale, 7-5. Hope to be at the NC State game. Another probably North Carolina. We have so many followers and listeners in North Carolina. Did you know?
I will be at the North Carolina State game.
You will be at the NC State game.
I will be at the NC State game.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that is when is that? That's towards the end here, isn't it?
That was one of the positives I saw of this schedule and this whole
November
reset.
20th. Yeah.
Before this reset, Wake Forest and NC State, they played home and away. They were the same years in our division. So it was like 1 year, okay, well, I'm down in North Carolina, so I get to go to the NC State game and the Wake Forest game. Next year, nothing. And then I have to wait the next year. I mean, obviously there's usually a basketball game, but talking about football specifically. So now they kind of split it up. So it's at NC State this year, but Wake Forest is home this year. So, selfishly, the schedule change kind of helped me out a little bit so I can be able to see SU football down here every year.
Right, that's pretty cool. And I was talking, Blacksburg's like 5 hours from here. It's like 4.5, 5 hours. It's a hike, but I've never been. Be a fun place to go. Jermaine, top fan on Facebook. We should probably start off 4-0 after that, unless DeVito can go to work. Yeah, we're screwed. So I looked at this and I'm like, man, I don't. That game against Liberty. I mean, they handled.
Yeah, we ain't
us.
starting off 4-0.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I mean, the Rutgers one.
That
worries me
quarterback's
too.
still there, and Rutgers isn't going to be easy either. Second game of the season.
Yeah, if we go 2-2 right there, I mean, that's my expectations.
That was my expectations, yep.
Okay. Let's see. Let's keep going here. Jacob, I'm hoping that I'm seriously wrong and this year's team will be much improved, but I only see 3 wins. Okay. David, top fan. David, come on. There we go. The machine's not working. David, top fan on Facebook. 8-4. Okay, I got 4-8. Chad, if we stay healthy, I see 7 wins, but player availability is going to be key. And, what do we get? Who do we get, right? So, we got to assume Chris Blake is going to be there. We got to assume, I assume I don't know if I'm going out on a limb here. The best guy is going to play, so it doesn't matter. But I'm going to assume Garrett Schrader is going to be the quarterback. And that's not to bash Tommy. It's just that just from what I've seen, just the struggle. But, I don't know what he shows in practice either. So he might be okay in practice. And game time, we've dealt with the offensive line issues and things, and, it could be a totally different ball game. Benny, 7-5, and Sly says 3 wins. Okay, so, I mean, it gets a little bit more balanced than I thought it was, but I'm going to stick with 4-8 and just hope for better. I'm going to set my expectations low and just hope I'm wrong. That's how I'm playing this.
Yeah, well, going back to what you were kind of talking about is the players coming back, and there were certain positions that I was worried about, but seeing, the Cervases and Elmores and Kingsley Jonathan and Josh Blacks coming back, like We still haven't heard anything about the running backs, but at this point,
I
think
assume they're gone, right?
Yeah, but as a Syracuse fan, with Sean Tucker, Cooper Lutz, and then with Josh Huff coming next year, I think everyone's really okay with that. Having the offensive line all being able to come back, plus adding Chris Blake, adding another quarterback to the mix that's going to give Tommy some competition,
it's
right?
a whole other
and then
team.
You have most of our receivers came back except for Nykeem Johnson, but then we got 3 receivers coming in who got some size. And then when you look at the defensive side of the ball, I mean, losing Melifuanu going to be tough. Trill and Cisco, they were good, but they didn't really play that much this year, right? So a lot of our guys got experience. So I think there's a lot of guys that are comfortable, or a lot of fans that are comfortable with the defensive backs that are coming back next year and the youth and what they did last year, along with the same can be said with linebackers, and then having all those seniors come back on the defensive line. So I see it all as a positive, and I know that, we can only go by history and everything like that, but, I'm cautiously optimistic that quarterback can do. And again, I will tell anybody, go to YouTube, look at Garrett Schrader, Mississippi State highlights. Look what he did as a freshman in the SEC against good defenses. And when you look at that, I'm not going to say for certain that he's going to start, but he's definitely competition for Tommy, which he hasn't had since Dungy left.
Matt on Facebook, by the way, says 13-0, obviously adding a bowl win in there. But, well, we remember he just copy and pasted his prediction from last year. So, hey, I love the optimism, but some people say I'm negative. I'm more of a realist, I feel like, and that's kind of when you tell me the cup is half full, no, it's half empty. No, it's piss, right? So who cares? Yeah. All right. So that is that. It should be fun, and I guess I remember the schedule coming out this early, but it would caught me off guard today, to be honest with you. I was so busy. I almost missed it, to be quite honest with you. So thanks for the comments there. We appreciate that. We will be back right after this with the NC State preview. All right, time to hear from BetOnline one more time, the title sponsor for Armchair Media and the Cuse Militia. We just talked about football. Is it going to be different? Are we going to be able to get to a game during football? We made a lot of predictions saying just that. So we will have to see. But I'm optimistic. Either way, if you want to get on some action, home or away, or at the stadium or not, you can always get on the action at BetOnline. BetOnline's going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to BetOnline today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. Okay. The 7-5 Wolfpack will travel, the 3-4 in the ACC, will travel to the Empty Dome to take on the 9-5 Syracuse Orange, 3-4 in the ACC this Sunday at 6 o'clock on ACC Network. The all-time series sits at 7-6 in favor of the Orange. The series has recently been tightened up over the last 3 games as the Wolfpack has taken those. Gerard, in the last game we played last year, 30 points, and Quincy with 10 rebounds in that 79-74 loss. NC State, they were on a 4-game losing streak before beating Wake Forest last night, 72-67. They had a good handle on the game until their best player, Devin Daniels, went down with a no-contact knee injury. Obviously, we don't know anything about that yet, but Daniels was leading NC State in points per game with 16.5. I just checked. Did you get news on that? Okay.
Yeah, it's been confirmed. Torn ACL out for the season.
Okay, well, there you go. It's what it looked like when no contact and you go down like that.
That's usually what it is.
Yep. NC State is 70th in KenPom rankings and 81st in the net, making this a quad 3 game. Joe, we now know the status of Devin Daniels, taking that into account, and that's why we try to do these previews after the games.
That's why we waited, right?
Yeah. So, but we do have DJ Funderburk, 6'10", 225, and Manny Bates, 6'11", 230, both averaging about 9 points and 5 rebounds a game. And as we pointed out last night in the Virginia postgame show, when we've been outmatched down low, we have really yet to pull in a win. So how outmatched are we in your opinion, Joe, in this game with those two guys? You've got the best shooter out. You still have Braxton Beverly, who is this guy has got to be like 30 years old at this point. I feel like he's been there forever. So, but you still have him. He can shoot. Not a huge guy, obviously, but a little shifty, good ball handler. So, but that doesn't worry me right now. And the two big guys, obviously, is probably always going to be my focus, always my worry. So what do you think?
I don't want to downplay the big guys as much as I would like to. Kind of learned my lessons from the Virginia game, and obviously they do have some height, right?
Yeah, they're a little awkward on the shot.
Yeah, I mean, they're not huge scorers. They haven't been huge scorers. I'll just put it that way. They're not big men that can really like push it out that much. Manny Bates is more like pretty much underneath the basket. DJ Funderburg, he can step out and hit a mid-range jumper, but they're not going to be shooting threes and stuff like Jay Huff and Sam Hauser and stuff like that. They also have Jarrett Cole Helms, who is 6'7". He's a 6'7" forward who gives them a little bit more of some athleticism and some size out there. But obviously, this preview is a lot different than it would have been yesterday because of the Devin Daniels situation, and he's their guy. He's their leading scorer, leading minutes. I mean, he's almost leading rebounds.
He's
leading
assists.
Right there with assists. Yeah. He's tied with assists and steals on the team. Like, he's their guy. And just to see this happen, I mean, honestly, like, I know I'm not an NC State fan, but
you hate it for him.
I hate to see it happen. And I mean, last night against Wake Forest, I watched the game. They were pressing the whole game. They had 8 guys that played over 18 minutes.
They were pushing towards a 20-point lead too, weren't they? They were really close, 15 points.
Yeah, they were. Wake Forest fought back, got it close in the second half, but yeah, this is going to be tough because, you know, not only is he the guy, the team knows that he's the guy, right? So you have such an immediate kind of like injury, and then, you know, your next game, it's going to be interesting to see kind of who steps up, who takes, you know, the helm of the leadership, and whether or not this is really going to, you know, kind of deflate them mentally, because you never really know. Sometimes it's a real thing. If you know that your best player's out, sometimes some players just think, okay, well, I'm going to do my best, but that guy out, we don't really got a good chance, right? So you hope that, again, he's good, and I hate to see an injury on another team like this as a reason why we might win, but that right there is probably going to be the biggest thing, is this team getting over mentally that, like, this is the guy, he's our best player, he's our leader, and now he's out for the season. So they're going to need people to step up. Braxton Beverly, he's going to have to step up. Freshman Cam Hayes and Shaquille Moore, 2 guards, 1'6", 1'6", need to step up. Guard Thomas Allen needs to step up. They're going to be playing more minutes, but the thing is that there's 4 guards right there, and not one of them is over 6'3". And, you know, Devin Daniels, he was 6'5". He was kind of right there in the middle where he could have guarded a Buddy or a Griffin or something like that. And right now you're looking at, unless they play Manny Bates and Funderburg and Helms at the same time, then, you know, that whole height difference, we're going to have a mismatch somewhere. So, again, we're going to have to worry about the press and how they try to pressure you into, you know, kind of controlling the pace and pressure you into turnovers. But again, I expect the first game, when you lose a guy like that, I mean, this is going to be a team, a shell of themselves, and I deem this a must-win just because of that. I mean, coming into this game, Devin Daniels had 158 shots. Helms had 110. Those are the only guys. That's how close it was. He had 48 more shots than the next guy, and the next guy had 29 more shots than the next guy. So he's the guy they go to. He's got the most minutes, the most shots, the most points, all that stuff. So
he's been carrying that team, I mean, through most of, you know, they did split with North Carolina. Their losses aren't terrible. Florida State, possibly easily top 3 in the ACC, like, you know, by the end of the year. I think they could probably be the best. I don't know, UVA looks really good too. Lost to them, lost to Miami, and then Clemson, also another really good team, in overtime. So they're not bad. I mean, they're not bad.
But that was all with Devin Daniels.
That was all with Devin Daniels. That was my point. So we don't know We don't know. And obviously, like you said, if Syracuse goes into this game and they struggle and they end up losing, it's going to be really bad. Like, this is obviously a must-win. And I feel like we keep saying that, but honestly, I be very careful all the time when I'm talking about must-wins. I've been, just throughout doing the show, I thought I've been pretty careful because I don't want to be hyperbolic about it, but
right.
You know what I mean? But there's been so many of these early.
This team was a team that's basically they're trending toward competing for us for a spot in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to see them again, like I said, lose their best player at the end of the game there, like obviously it's not going to be good for them, and they're going to have to find a different identity. And I don't know what the coach is really going to do. And again, I don't want to say that I'm happy that we're like, oh, this is the first game after the guy gets hurt. But at the end of the day, Syracuse fans want to see a W, and that whole act of him getting hurt, it automatically raises our chances of winning that game. So, and when I say must win, it's not like a must win basically by like standing situation as much as it's you look at the state of the team. So,
yeah.
Devin Daniels, like you said, he had 20 points in that game. He was a leading scorer. He was a leading rebounder. You talk about Manny Bates. He had 19 points, 4 fouls, 4 points, 3 rebounds. Like some of those big guys, we can get them in foul trouble, and then it's going to be them relying on young guards to pick up the slack of a senior, and that's tough to do. It's tough. I feel for their fans. I feel for that. I would hate to see one of our best players go down like that. And I know it's happened in the past, and it happens every once in a while. And you hate for that to be a reason why you beat a team too, right? But this is how it fell. They're on the schedule, and we just got to go in there and do what we got to do.
I mean, it is, and I think Syracuse has got to stick to what they're good at. I mean, I'll just keep saying it because it's obvious. I think. You don't want to get stuck in a rut and be, having to play catch up because you were just hucking up threes and being one and done all the time.
No, don't get me wrong. We can't come out and shoot like we did last game either. We come out and shoot like we did last game, and then they press us the whole game, and we have a bunch of turnovers, and then they get the rebounding on us. Then it's we know where that game goes. We know how that game goes, right?
This could just as easily be one of those games, right? Or it could just as easily be the Miami game.
An easy one, right?
That's the problem.
Exactly.
It just don't know.
But they do. If we play that bad, they have enough players and enough shooters to be able to keep them in the game and make it uncomfortable for us, even without their best player.
Are you a little surprised that we didn't? I thought maybe there would have been something shoved into there midweek for one of these. Makeup games between, I think it was Wake Forest and Notre Dame.
I was a little surprised, but I thought that we already made those games up. Did we not?
No, we made up the
North Carolina game, but we lost the FSU game too.
Yeah.
So we got 3 games to make up, but I thought they rescheduled some of them.
Oh, did they? Okay. All right. I just thought they were going to.
Thought they did.
Okay. Are you looking that
You would
up?
think that they would, right?
You would think that they would, but again, they shoved the what was the one that they kind of just stuck in there when we had an opening. You remember that?
UNC. It was us making up the UNC game.
That's right. Okay. So I was just kind of expecting more of that.
Well, and then they threw in Pitt because of FSU.
Well, we do not have Wake Forest on our schedule, so that game still looks like it needs to be made up.
Yeah, I do see that.
And if I remember right, I thought that the set game
we were playing Notre Dame twice.
We were playing Notre Dame twice. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I mean, maybe they'll stick these.
No, I think that's a makeup because I'm looking down. I'm looking down at February 20th, and that's a home game.
Okay.
And ours
was a home
postponed game was a home game.
Right. Okay.
So
all right.
If that was an away game, then I think something.
So
different.
they got one. They got one scheduled, so we just got to try to squeeze in that Wake Forest
game, and they played last night, which is why we couldn't squeeze
exactly. It. Okay, so that makes sense. Good. All right. Okay. It's just you never know.
Now that we got that figured out.
Yeah, we just kind of did that on the fly, but it just crossed my mind when we were talking here. So anyway, all right. Any predictions, Joe? We don't usually do this with basketball, but I've got a couple minutes to burn. What do you think?
Oh, God, man. I mean, you never know because basketball is basketball, and if you miss, then things can happen. And that's the one thing is you never know if there's a situation where a team kind of gets a little bit of like a high off of this guy's out, and now it's time to step up for him, right?
We've had that, though. We had Champagne out, and we blew it. First game against Pitt. So,
right.
You know, I mean... I don't know if that's a good gauge, but look, you know, I wish the home thing meant something because I think it would be. I think we got at least 2 more wins if we had fans in the dome.
Really?
I think so.
Who would those wins be?
Well, the first one would
because we've only lost 1 game in the dome.
Okay, well then we'd have one more, that Pitt game.
Yep.
We'd have one more, that Pitt game. So, well, that's good. So, anyways, my point is that if you got fans there, I think it's a totally different dynamic. I know, but
remember we talked about that after that game. We were like, imagine if the fans were in the dome when Braswell hit those 3 threes in a row and everything.
Right.
Yeah, the Pitt game.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
I think we brought that up that was one of those things where in the end of the year we don't make the tournament because of one game. That would be the one. Especially, you know, they're missing Champagne and no fans, whatever. And there's no fans, and you know there was definitely plays and things that happened in that game that would have made the orange crowd erupt if there was 20-something
thousand. All right, so
in
back to your prediction. Now you're just burning clock.
Oh God, I think we're gonna win, man. I'm not gonna give like a number because it all depends on how we shoot, but. They play in your face, they play tough, they play aggressive, and they're going to full court press you. So it all depends on how we handle that press, how we handle the big guys, and how we shoot. Those are the top 3 if I had to give 3 things to look at. So we can't shoot like we did.
And they're big guys, too. They're only averaging 5 rebounds apiece a game. That's not like off the charts, you know.
Well, the way that they've got it set up is because those are really their 2.
Break this tablet over my knee in a second. Go on.
Mine. Well, I'm just saying it's a situation where, like, Funderburk hasn't been starting, Manny Bates has, and they've kind of been splitting the time as the big guy. So I don't even really know how many times we're going to see them on the court at the same time. But with this Devin Daniels injury, that's really the one thing. And that's the one thing that I worry about is the fact that the NC State coach, Kevin Keatts, he's going to have to make adjustments about how he plays, obviously, because his best player just went down, which means that we don't have a game that we can look at or a tape that we can look at that shows what this NC State team is going to look like without him.
Right.
But at the same time, this is a game where they're going to have to go into practice and figure out something else because they just lost a bunch of shots. And who makes up those shots and who makes up that defense and who makes up those minutes and how do you change your game plan to the team you're playing? And that's going to be the one thing is how good of a coach is Kevin Keatts to get his guys ready. And I think we're going to see because if you're a good coach and you got good players, then you can maybe formulate a game plan that can sneak up on somebody. But if it's something that's going to have to just happen over time and over them getting used to it, then this could be ugly for them as well. So we shall see.
I'm going to make mine super easy. I'm just going to say that the only thing that really bothers me about them is they're big guys because that's what bothers me this year so far. That's how they've lost games.
Yeah.
So I will say because like what you go back to saying, Joe, about the athleticism of some of these guys, and I'm not downplaying them either, but they aren't Jay Huff and Sam Hauser. They're just not. So
right.
I think this.
I'm not talking about the athleticism as much as it's just their offensive options and what they can do on offense.
I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to say Syracuse squeaks one out. I think they're going to squeak one out, 72-69. 72-69. And we stopped the 3-game skid too. Because, we need to. Yeah, that's, it's going to be evened up. If they win again, the series is going to be evened up. Okay. So, that's it. That's enough of that. Thanks for coming back.
We'll be all right.
I hope so. I think so. I think we will. So, anyways, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Obviously, thank you to Bet Online and thank you to Live CBD. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.